Hi everyone, we're the research team of psychotourism.
I'm Yang.
I'm Jiayan.
I'm Joy.
I'm Lee. Today we will do the psychotourism presentation.
Enjoy.
Psychotourism defined as visitors participating in a cycling-related activity that contains a day trip or an overnight stay, and the distance is more than 50 kilometers away from home. Psychotourism in Ontario is growing dramatically and is increasingly acknowledged by the tourism sector as a useful tool to promote local economic growth. The purpose of this project is to measure and to research the preference of cyclotourism, the attendance of cycling-related events, cycling tourist spending habits, and the motivation of cycle visitors in Ontario. The main questions the paper tried to answer include: what are the key characteristics of cyclotourism in Ontario? What are cyclotourism retail spending habits on vacation? How frequently do cyclotourism attend to cycling-related events in the past 2 years? And what are cyclists' preferences related to cyclotourism?
Psychotourism has been around since at least in 1878, first identified by the Cyclist Tourism Club founded in UK. The literature review analyzed topics about definition, sustainable psychotourism, motivation, demographic of psychotourism, and infrastructure supported by government. Psychotourism has been defined in various ways under government and academic organizations. The common view of definition across the literature is people who use a bicycle as a mode of transport for the purpose of vacation away from their home for more than 24 hours, which means psychotourism can involve in mode of transport to a destination as well as an activity within a destination.
Primary source of this research consists of an in-person survey and online survey respectively. We decided to use hypothesis sampling as our sampling strategy. The only advantage of this method is it can be applied in a place with large number of people. However, the sampling method cannot be represented accurately to the large population. Since there was a large group of cyclists in Ontario, our data can only represent a small part of them.
The sample for this research paper includes 3 specific target populations. A total of 748 usable surveys were conducted from the email list from Transportation Options Network, the Outdoor Adventure Show, and the International Bicycle Show. All respondents are cyclists who have taken a cycling trip in the last 2 years. As the chart shows, 6% of respondents come from the Outdoor Adventure Show, 7% of respondents came from the International Bicycle Show, and 87% of respondents were the email list from TO's website. In addition, almost 90% of respondents from Ontario and 10% of respondents from outside of Ontario. There are 4 main types of cyclists. 38% of cyclists are experienced people. 60% of people are leisure or recreational cyclists. 13% of respondents are racing or competitive cyclists. For the email list population, it is worth noting that only 1% of cyclists in the beginner level.
This table compares 2 different fields of the survey in order to distinguish the information within our data. The relationship between 2 variables is presented by a cross-tabulation table. It shows the primary age group of attendees in experienced and leisure cyclists is from 35 to 64 years old, which are both over 50%. However, there is a difference in racing cyclists. The main age group that focus on racing activity is from 15 to 54 years old. Difference also happens in gender area. Both experienced and racing cyclists have larger number of male cyclists, while only leisure has more number of female cyclists. In addition, for the income part, lots of cyclists is over 100,000 section, and that's the largest number of people compared to the other section of income. This table shows types of activities during cycling trip and times of day trip in Ontario, have engagement with types of cyclists as well. The activity of visiting museum and experience different culture has the highest rating in all categories, as the full rating is 5. We found that attendees select art and studio tour with the lowest rating, which is lower than the average. Rating in wine and beer tasting and going to the beach has similar number in all three types of cyclists. Respondents to the survey are mainly people over 55 years old, representing around 47% of all respondents. Within that 47%, around 73% cyclists are experienced. The second largest age group of respondents is between 45 to 54 years old and is 25% of all respondents. A significant difference between 2018 research and 2012 research is that cyclists in the age group of 55 plus are dominant participants in the cycling tourism market in 2018, while that group only represents 21.2% in 2012. The difference cannot be applied to prove that more and more senior people tend to participate in the cycling tourism as a healthy alternative to other traveling means, because these two results data of research were collected in different places and different time. 2018 research shows that 63.9% of respondents have a full-time job, compared to 72.8% in 2012 research. A significant change is that retired group now represents 22.9% of cyclists, while the group was 8.3% in 2012 only. Majority of cyclists use either website or social media to acquire information about cycling tourism. 72% of them either very often or often utilize website to obtain cycling traveling information. 44% of them either very often or often use social media for such information. In addition, printing cycling map and friends and family are other two sources people use. It clearly indicates that cycling tourism business should rely more on technology channels, especially the internet and mobile apps, to create marketing and promotional activities and target potential customers.
We redesigned our target market from our respondents. Most of them are male. In addition, the age group is around 35 to 54. Most of them contain high income level and education background. However, over 60% of respondents are doing full-time job, so that they have leisure time in holidays or on weekends only. During the data collection phase, we also know that most respondents will prefer touring package, which can save their time on making schedule and selecting destinations. So our recommendation is a package of 1 to 2 day short day tour with recommendations, food and beverage. The destination can be chosen from museum or other historical attractions, and price is not a big problem for them. In addition, over 1/3 of respondents are familiar with the internet, so we can use internet as our main promotion method. During our data collection period, there were several limitations or within or beyond the considered of us. Firstly, the length of survey should be reconsidered. We received a lot of comments about the scaling questions and the length of the survey. All comments were complaining about the time-consuming issues. Although scaling questions can provide detailed information, however, it consumed their most of time to finish it. Our ideal time to finish a survey is under 5 minutes. In fact, it took them more than 10 minutes to finish it. In addition, during 2 different events, there were no internet connection in the venue. We are using paper copies to collect data from visitors. These small blanks and length of the survey bring them a lot of troubles to fill it. Furthermore, because of the length of the survey, these paper copies were very heavy and inconvenient for us to carry on. For the further research, our next research can be based on these data. Due to our analysis, our further survey can more focus on the leisure and experienced cyclists. These two types of cyclists are the largest group of the cyclists. Emphasis on these two groups can make more precisely plan for cycling organizations. In addition, websites and other technology methods are becoming mainstream methods to explore and develop cycling plans. So we can change our method to quota sampling in order to investigate typical type of cyclists.
Thank you for watching our presentation videos. We hope you enjoyed it. Happy cycling!
Bye.
Bye. Bye.